let's just shift our focus for a bit here. The investigation into the shirtless protest at Bharat Mandapam has intensified. And this is the latest information that we're bringing for you right now. Delhi police seeking 7-day custody of the Youth Congress chief. Delhi police in court said that Uday Bhanu was the mastermind of this protest. And this is the latest that we're bringing for you. Remember, the Delhi police had arrested Uday Bhanu Chib, Youth Congress president. They are now seeking a 7-day custody, and they are alleging that he was in fact the mastermind of this protest at Bharat Mandapam during the AI Impact Summit that we saw last week. This is the latest that we're bringing for you. Remember, the investigation into the shirtless protest at Bharat Mandapam has intensified. Delhi police have arrested Uday Bhanu Chib, Youth Congress president. The police say that he is not cooperating. He was not cooperating during questioning and allegedly tried to also mislead the investigators. Remember, earlier Anvit was telling us there was some 8 to 10 hours of questioning that had already taken place. He will be brought before the Patiala House Court in sometime today, and of course here there has been brought to the Patiala House Court, pardon me, and it's there that the Delhi police is seeking 7-day custody, saying that he is in fact the mastermind of this protest at Bharat Mandapam. And remember, earlier about 5 other arrests were also made with regards to this. Meanwhile, a day after the protest, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had also slammed Congress for its dirty and shameless politics. We've seen the number of reactions that have been pouring in as well. Many of, in fact, the Congress's key allies also saying that this was not the way to go about, and this was not, in fact, the platform to protest at. And the Congress there harping on the issue that India has surrendered to the United States, and this is not. That's truly what is shameful. So the war of words, the politics has already broken out over this, but in light of the latest developments, Uday Bhanu Chib, remember, was arrested earlier. He has been produced before the Patiala House Court. We're given to understand that the Delhi police is seeking 7-day custody of the Youth Congress chief, and they did say in court that he was the mastermind of these protests.
इसीलिए मैं ये चाहता था कि मोदी जी देश के लिए कुछ अच्छा काम करने वाले हैं, लेकिन मोदी जी ने तो देश का सत्यानाश कर दिया। और मोदी ने तो देश का सत्यानाश कर दिया, और खास करके ट्रंप के सामने उन्होंने घुटने टेके, नाक रगड़ के उनके सारे कंडीशन को उन्होंने मान लिया, जिससे पूरा देश शर्मिंदा हो गया। जो चीज़ें हमारे किसानों के मदद के लिए या किसानों के अच्छाई के लिए हमको करना चाहिए था, उसका बजाय उन्होंने किसानों का सत्यानाश करने का उनसे बातचीत की है। और ये एक उन्होंने ये भी काम कर दिया कि जो देश में पहले से ही लोग ये समझते थे कि भाई।
All right, joining me now is Anvit Srivastava and Ananya. Thank you so much for joining me both. Ananya, let me come to you first. Of course, the Delhi police, they're seeking 7-day custody, saying that he's the mastermind. We are seeing the politics that's broken out. We'll get to that in a bit, but let's just talk about what's happening there right now.
Well, absolutely. We had been talking about this, that this will snowball into a political dogfight, and that is something that has, erupted as far as these AI protests are concerned. And definitely, the opposition too is not supporting the Congress as far as this act is concerned. They had also criticized how the Congress had, actually done on, in fact, global stage. But as far as the courts are concerned, the Delhi police has completely gone on to tell, in fact, the Delhi's Patiala House Court that, he is the Uday Bhanu, the IYC chief, is the mastermind. He was the one who provided logistical support and is somebody who has remained non-cooperative during the investigation. He's not giving his phone passwords, and that is making things, much difficult, and hence a 7-day police custody remand is required. More importantly, when the other Congress workers were produced yesterday, a line that was actually taken by the Delhi police is that this criminal conspiracy that has been hatched, and Uday Bhanu being one of the masterminds of it, is something that was similar to the kind of Gen Z protest that had erupted in Nepal. So definitely this is a kind of a plot that the Delhi police is thinking to probe, and is on the lines of probing this particular angle as far as this AI summit disruption was concerned, because it was not a BJP event. It was in fact a event that was hosted by India. It was a global event having tech giants, world leaders, and that is something that has tarnished the image of the Republic on in fact a global level. And this is not being said by the lawyers. It was said by the court when these 4 IYC protesters were actually produced before the Delhi's Patiala House Court. Very categorically, the court had on the last occasion clearly stated that this was an attempt to tarnish the image of the country on a global level, and that is something that cannot be left unchecked. What happens to Uday Bhanu is something that we'll get to know at 12:30, but definitely the Delhi police calling him a mastermind of all of this criminal conspiracy, and saying that this was done in order to disrupt the AI summit, which was a global event completely.
Right, absolutely, Ananda. If I could just come back to a point that you were making earlier. So the Delhi police here is contesting that this was similar to the protest that we saw, Gen Z protests in Nepal. Anvit, let me come to you on that as well. Of course, we're seeing the various charges that are being brought on as well. You had earlier said, Anvit, that there was about 8 to 10 hours of questioning that had already happened. Do we have any idea of the line of questioning that was being taken? Because we are given to understand that he was not cooperating.
Yeah, that has come from the police, that he was not as cooperative, and he is also not being allowing access to electronic devices, and for now following.
Well, primarily we are arguing in the dark because they have not even produced the FIR. They are saying the FIR is so sensitive that we have to make a request. The commissioner will constitute a committee, and then they will decide whether they'll give the FIR. Secondly, they said that they need him because he's the mastermind, and they have to go to recover T-shirts from Himachal and other places. And so our argument was very simple. Our argument is that he's the national president of an opposition youth body. He was never there. He was never in coordination with them. And if this is the way we are going to react, because with the case made out is that the national honor and national shame has been brought. So we said, and we argued, that please understand that in every healthy democracy, in every event like that internationally, you have these kinds of protests. You may not agree with the protests, but the protests are the part of democracy. What brings national shame is this reaction that we are having, a North Korea type of reaction, where you are going ahead and arresting every office bearer of an opposition youth organization. That is the threat to democracy. And the Supreme Court has repeatedly said that in offences for less than 7 years, the bail is the rule. Remand, and then also asking for 7 days police custody, is completely contrary to what the Supreme Court is saying. And both of us argued before the court that the whole world is watching, and we will be a laughing stock of the whole world if we are going to send the president of the opposition youth association to prison or to police custody because some T-shirts have been printed and T-shirts have to be recovered.
Sir, one thing that the court had actually stated when 4 IYC protesters were actually, produced before it on the last occasion, it had said that, it tarnishes the image of the Republic. How do you see those observations that had come in from the Delhi's Patiala House Court, and what are you expecting?
Well, that is an order passed in remand. So those are tentative observations. And as far as I know, those observations are made recording the submissions of the police, because obviously it's prima facie. But again, today we took that on and we said we have read your remand order, and exactly this whole shame business is absolutely wrong, because it is the whole world will appreciate India that here we have space for democracy, we have space for dissent. So it's not a matter of shame, it's a matter of pride. We may dislike, no protest is easy, no protest is something we like. In fact, all protests, if they want eyeballs, you would not be here interviewing me if it was a mild protest some 300 kilometers away from Delhi. So all protests are meant to catch the eye of the people. And that is an integral part of democracy. What is happening now is vendetta, it is vengeance, and this is North Korea's style of response, which will bring international shame to India. Sorry, not what happened at the AI summit.
सर पुलिस मास्टरमाइंड बोल रही है, कह रही है कि लॉजिस्टिक इन्होंने प्रोवाइड कराए, इसको लेकर
All right, then, Ananya, let me just come to you. There a very important statement being made there by the lawyers as well. They are talking about a couple of things here. Let me just take our viewers through this. That the FIR was not produced, he was not in coordination, he was never present there. This is in fact a sign of a very healthy democracy to have protests. And in fact, it's the reaction to these protests that would bring shame to the nation. That is what the lawyers are saying. And that is in fact the true threat to democracy, and that's what's going to bring shame. And this North Korea style of a response. Ananya, if you could just tell us what was said there.
Well, absolutely. In fact, the Congress's lawyers who are representing Uday Bhan have completely gone on to say that, it is a North Korea style of protest that is, North Korea style of response that has happened. And this is something, that is not required. But at the same point of time, we have to understand that this was not a BJP event. This was not an ordinary event. It was a global event with tech giants, with, people from across the world who were attending, world leaders were attending. And that is something, that makes it much more significant. And it's not us. The courts have also very categorically stated that, this was a clear attempt to tarnish the image of the Republic. And these were observations that were made in a judicial order that was passed by the Delhi's Patiala House Court. What happens to Uday Bhan, we'll get to know at 12:30. What kind of observations would come in is something that would be very, very crucial to see.
Absolutely, Ananya. Anvit, let me come back to you on that as well. When we speak of purely on a legal basis here, it is not... they cannot be held in contempt for holding a protest there. One may disagree with it. That's what the lawyer is saying, that you may disagree with what they are saying. But if you truly want to get eyeballs on what you're protesting about, this was the way to do it. And that's what they've done. And in fact, goes on to say that this is in fact a matter of pride. And which some may be able to see some sense in that argument as well.
See, the counsel for those who protested will certainly put in such arguments, and at the same time, police have also presented their case before the court, and the police's counsel have also said that it was more about how orchestrated and how planned it was, and the planning that went behind it. So the police investigation, this is the reason why it only focuses on one point, which is what was the intent and how it was orchestrated. These are the two things that police wants to identify in its questioning, and that is why Uday Bhan had been called for questioning at Tilakmarg police station. Following 8 to 10 hours of questioning, police found some grounds to make arrest, and then he was finally arrested. It was not that he was first arrested and then brought to police station. He was called for questioning. Police found certain grounds. He was probably also not cooperating, and police have also said in the court that these are the grounds because of which his custody is required. Further interrogation and detailed investigation is required to find out what the motive is behind this protest, whether it was only political, only related to to kind of a fight between BJP and Congress due to political ideologies, or there was something beyond that. So to investigate that, custody of Uday Bhan would be required, and it would be crucial for the investigation. So is the custody of the 4 previously arrested.
Right.
They have been interrogated, the interrogation reports have been prepared, and that is also being made a ground in court to seek his custody.